Hi, grade 7s. Today we're moving on to lesson 7.6, which is weight and capacity in customary units. Now, I understand that and I know that we're not used to customary units and we don't often use too much customary units. But unfortunately, one of the greatest powers in the world, United States, is they use customary units all the time. And so um, we should know how to what they are at least. So this lesson is all about understanding customary units in terms of just weight and also capacity. Now, first of all, what is the meaning of capacity? Capacity is basically how much space there are. Capacity is the meaning of amount of space. Is a measurement for amount of space. So, in case you don't know what capacity means, capacity means the measurement for amount of space. And so for metric, that's going to be your milliliters and liters. That's going to be the measurements in metric. Now we're going to talk about weight first for customary units. There are actually only three types of weights for customary units. I know there's one more in between pound and ton, but that's not used very often. It's probably used in the UK. It's called stone, but in the US, it's just going to be ounce, pound, and then ton. We're not going to hear too much about stone because I think there's like two different types of stones. There's like the imperial stone, there's like a US stone, and there's also like I'm not too sure. But I'm also not an expert in customary units. So we're only going to focus on the three, which is right here. We have ounce, we have pound, and we have ton. Now the measurement that most of us see and we still kind of understand quite a bit is the pound over here because most of us would probably record our own weight in pounds. So for example, most secondary students maybe around 130 pounds, 120 pounds. So we are still used to the pound measurement. But then for example, ounce and ton, we're not too sure about what those are. And so I have written here the exact metric equivalent for the ounce, pound, and the ton. For ounce, it is 28.3 grams, and so approximately it is 30 grams. 30 grams, we know that is super light. What will be the weight of 30 grams? So perhaps you would think that the weight of 30 grams or 1 ounce would probably be, so for ounce, it is only 30 grams. So 1 ounce, 1 ounce, one ounce, let me do that here. Whoops. Oh, yeah, 1 ounce would probably be for example a slice of bread. That's the one the textbook uses. A slice of bread, maybe that's 1 ounce. Also, if you have a maybe a $10 coin, the thick $10 coin, maybe that's also an ounce. So a the thick $10 coin. I'm talking about the Hong Kong dollar coin, by the way, the $10 coin. That's the heavier one, right? Or is it the $5 coin? Is the $5 coin heavier or the $10 coin? Or maybe, yeah, so either one of those. Those maybe, that's probably an ounce as well. Another thing that may be an ounce, I'm just trying to look around my room to see what sort of items would be around an ounce. Maybe if you have a key, for example, or maybe a bunch of keys, that would probably be so a bundle of keys, that would probably be an ounce as well. Of course, not too many. Too many, maybe that will be more heavier. So something that is approximately 30 grams will be an ounce. Now next we talk about 1 pound. Now what kind of things could be 1 pound? Well, maybe you have um, the textbook here says a soccer ball. So a soccer ball. I'm not actually sure what the exact weight of a soccer ball is. We can probably check the standard the standard weight of a soccer ball on the internet, but I'm not going to do that now. What other things could be a pound? Maybe we have a nice steak, could be a pound, like a large steak is 1 pound, a large steak. What else could be 1 pound? I'm thinking of maybe a small a lamp, a small desk lamp maybe. I'm just looking at things in my room right now that could be 1 pound. Maybe a small desk lamp, that could be 1 pound as well. And 1 pound is exactly 453 grams, and that is approximately 500 grams. Approximately 500 grams. Oh, so a bottle of water, that is probably a pound. A bottle of water, that probably weighs 1 pound around. And what other things could be a pound? If you have a maybe your an iPad could be 1 pound. So an iPad, whoops, it should be iPad. Maybe that's 1 pound as well. A laptop will be heavier than 1 pound, maybe like 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds, depending on the size of your laptop. So that's approximately 1 pound. And then for 1 ton, you can see over here that's 907 kilograms. Now we all know how heavy one kilogram is. Most people can probably lift up. If you like, those weightlifting people, they probably weightlift like the small weightlifting dumbbells are maybe like 4 kilograms, maybe 8 kilograms. That's pretty heavy already. And so 900 kilograms, that's super heavy. And I'm thinking most of your school bags, and I'm thinking of who has the heaviest school bag in your class. Think of that person. That school bag is probably around 20 to 30, 20 kilograms, I would say. Would be pretty heavy for a school bag, 20 kilograms. And that's probably one of the heavier school bags, like, one of those people who has their whole day's worth of books and textbooks and their lunch all bunched up in their school bag. That's approximately 20 kilograms. And so if you think 900 kilograms, that's 40 times of that school bag. 40 times of that school bag will be approximately 900 grams. And so 1 ton, the textbook here says a car would probably be approximately 1 ton. I don't know what else would be 1 ton. That's quite heavy, to be honest. Maybe one of those large wrecking balls. Maybe those would be a ton as well. I'm not sure what the exact weight is. Those large balls that use for destroying buildings. Bam. That's my attempt at drawing over there. I'm not too good at drawing, unfortunately. And so we need to understand what items should use different types of weights. And so, for example, now before I go into capacity, let's go into some examples. So let's say if we want to choose an appropriate measurement, choose an appropriate measurement, choose an appropriate measuring unit for the following items. And so let's say A, we have a golf ball. And we all know how small a golf ball is. And then B, let's say we're gonna choose an apple. Oh no, let's not do apple. Let's do a bicycle. Bicycle. And then C, let's do a bear. And then D, let's do one more. Let's do a laptop. So we have 4 different things. So a golf ball, super small. That golf ball, would we use pound to measure a golf ball? Of course not. So probably the most appropriate measuring for the item is the ounce. Do we know exactly how many ounce the golf ball is? I don't know. Maybe like 5 ounces, 4 ounces. I'm not actually too sure what the weight of one golf ball is. So we would use ounce. It's definitely less than a pound. And then for bicycle, is your bicycle going to be measured in ounce? No, I don't think so. It's not that light. Probably the lightest bicycle is a few kilograms. I know those carbon fiber technology makes it super, graphene technology makes it super light, but it's still not going to be less than a pound. And so it's also not going to be as heavy as a ton, because most people can be able to lift up their bicycle with one hand. And so nobody can lift up a ton with one hand. And so the best measurement for a bicycle would be the pound. How many pounds exactly? Well, it depends on how big your bicycle and how expensive your bicycle is. The more expensive it is, probably the lighter it is, like maybe up to maybe 5 pounds, 6 pounds. Maybe that would be your super light bicycle with like the top technology or something. I'm not sure. I don't know. And then if you go to new territories and you go to one of those bike renting shops, and then you go biking for a day, those bicycles, maybe they're around like maybe 15 pounds. They're quite heavy. They're quite heavy to lift up, but they're still not too heavy that you cannot lift them up. So I would say maybe like 15 pounds for one of those bicycles. A bear. How heavy is a bear? A bear is super heavy. Super heavy. Would it be like up into the ton? I'm not too sure. I'm actually going to quickly look up what the weight of a bear is. Average weight of a bear. Let me just quickly see. Brown bear is anything between 80 to 600 kilograms. Polar bears are 450 kilograms. A giant panda is 100 kil. Oh, that's super light. Giant pandas are so light. You can actually lift them up. An American black bear. Okay, so maybe bear is not a good example because we can still use pounds to measure the bear. I would say up to 900 pounds is a bear. And so let's change that. Let's do whale instead. Okay, so the textbook does say a blue whale. Blue whale, definitely super heavy. We're going to use tons for those. The ton. Definitely a ton for blue whale. Because what is the weight of a blue whale in kg? What is the weight of a blue whale? 50,000 to 150,000 kilograms. That's how heavy a blue whale is. 50,000 to 150,000 kilograms. That's super heavy. So blue whale, definitely using tons. Laptop is going to be in pounds. You're not going to measure your laptop in grams unless you have a super, but even the lightest laptop, I would say, is at least a pound. And so I forgot to mention what the relevance of, what each of these, how the three measurements link together. So I'm going to quickly add that in. So we have 1 ton. I'm going to start with the heaviest. 1 ton is equal to 2,000 pounds. Yes, 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. That's kind of heavy. That's actually that's super heavy. That's equivalent to 200 grade 7 students approximately. Okay, so 2,000 pounds, 1 ton will be approximately 200 students, like 200 grade 7 students. That's how heavy 200 pounds is. So that's even more students than the whole of our grade 7. Is that right? Actually, we have more than 200. We have more than 200. So yeah, it's around roughly all of our grade 7 students combined. That will be around 2,000 pounds, right? That's 1 ton. Next, we have 1 pound. And 1 pound is equal to 16 ounce. 16 ounce is 1 pound. And then, yeah, that's it. And so there's these two measurements that we do. So 16 ounce is equal to 1 pound, and then 2,000 pounds is equal to 1 ton. So that's how we can relate them to each other. Then let's move on to capacity. Capacity is the amount of space that it can take, and we usually think of capacity as, you know, the amount of water, the amount of liquid that you put in, and when we're doing baking, which is very relevant to your project. Now, we're thinking of cups, we're thinking of pint, we're thinking of, well, not usually pint, but usually it's just cup and fluid ounces. And so what is the difference between fluid ounce and a cup? Fluid ounce is the amount of space that it takes, and an ounce is the actual weight. So if you think of different things, this is more to do with science. So for example, if you have 1 fluid ounce of water compared to 1 fluid ounce of a solid gold, which one is going to be heavier? Well, they're both the same capacity. They're both 1 fluid ounce, but of course, the 1 fluid ounce of solid gold will be much heavier than 1 fluid ounce of water. 1 fluid ounce of water will be roughly the same as the ounce in terms of weight, and then 1 fluid ounce of gold will be a lot heavier. So that's the difference between fluid ounce and normal ounce. So they use the same ounce, but then the capacity has a fluid in front of it, and you can see in the symbol it's FL of OZ. FL stands for fluid, and an ounce is OZ. And so 1 fluid ounce is approximately 30 milliliters. And so what could be 30 milliliters? Maybe a sip of water. So that could be like a sip of water. A cup, we all know what a cup is your standard normal cup. Some cups are slightly bigger. Maybe it's, you know, if you have a large mug, that would probably be up to a pint. If you go out to restaurant and you see, you know, those adults drinking beer, that's usually a pint. That's 500 milliliters for a pint. Usually that's those super tall glass cups. Those are a pint. But usually your normal cup that you have at home, that's around 240 milliliters or 250 milliliters. Even your packaged box drinks are 250 milliliters. That's close to 1 cup. That's close to 1 cup. And so the 1 quart, not many people uses quarts. I'm not sure if they actually use a lot of quarts in America, but just think of quart is equivalent to 1 liter. Think of it that way. And gallons is, think of that, close to 4 liters. So I don't exactly know some equivalents for those, but just think of a bottle of water, your standard, not too big size, not too small size bottle of water would be a pint. And then if you have a large bottle that can last you a whole day, that's 1 liter, that's a quart. And then if you have those buckets or those you know, huge water bottles with a handle, well, it's not a water bottle, but those milk cartons, like large ones, that'll be a gallon. But we're not used to that. Let's just understand what they are. So one cup, let's start from the biggest one. 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. And then 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. 1 pint is equal to 2 cups. And then 1 cup is equal to 8 fluid ounces. So I don't know who came up with these numbers. It's rather funny, but we still have to understand approximately, you know, how heavy they are or how much it is, because, you know, if you talk to someone in America and they start telling you about these capacities. Oh yeah, let's drink. You need to add 2 cups, and then you don't know. Oh, what is 2 cups? And then you go, and then somebody else says, yeah, you need to add in if you're cooking with someone, they tell you to add in 3 ounces of water, and you don't understand what's 3 ounces. I don't know what it is. And so you need to be able to understand 1 ounce is approximately 30 milliliters, and so 3 ounces is approximately 90 milliliters, something like that, approximately. So let's choose the appropriate. We don't actually have to convert in this lesson. We don't need to convert, but we just need to be able to choose the appropriate measuring unit. So a large mug, I already said it a while ago, and then B, let's say a large your picnic water coolers, those water coolers that you bring to a picnic, and usually it's kind of usually it's like blue in color, and then with a white lid. Those ones. The one where you put ice inside, and then you can put like a lot of cans of soft drinks inside, and then it comes with a handle of some sort, like that. That's your liquid water coolers. And so that would be a water cooler, I guess. And then let's do another example. How much space does let me think of one. A mixing bowl. A salad mixing bowl. Salad mixing bowl, we all know how big they are. Hopefully we understand how big they are. And so let's choose the appropriate measuring unit for these. A large mug is already bigger than a cup. And so the appropriate measuring unit, well, you can say it's 2 cups, but there's a measuring unit for that. That will be a pint. And then for a water cooler, it's going to be quite big. It's going to take forever for you to measure in cups. So instead, let's use gallons for that. That's going to be at least 4 liters, or maybe even more, 8, 10, 15, even up to like 20 liters, or maybe like 40 liters. So that would be at least, so gallons. We would use gallons for a water cooler. What about a salad mixing bowl? How big do you think a salad mixing bowl is? I think it can fit up to 2 liters maybe. So perhaps you can measure that in quarts, or if you have a really big salad bowl. So for a small salad bowl, you can measure that in quarts, or for a really big one, you can probably measure that in gallons as well. Maybe up to just 1 gallon. That would be as big as a salad mixing bowl. Let's do one more. What about a fish? No. Fish tank is quite obvious. That's going to be gallons for sure. And so, your homework for today. Oh, actually, I've already set the homework over here. Oh, I was how forgetful I am. So it's going to be 3 to 28, all of them. So if you look through the questions, they're actually quite easy. All you have to do is just choose an appropriate customary unit for most of them, matching, how do we tell whether a measurement is a capacity or a length or a weight? Now I know we didn't talk about height or length here, but for example, how to tell if a measurement is weight, capacity, or length. So I'm going to do several examples over here, just really quick. So A, if we have a measurement that is 12 ounce, well, it's ounce on its own, which means that it is a ounce will be a weight. And then B, if I have 3 cups, well, cups is a measurement of capacity, so that's going to be capacity. And so anything with ounce or pound, lb, or ton, that will be weight. Anything with fluid ounce, FLOZ, anything with cups, anything with quarts, QT, or anything with gallons, GAL, they will all be capacity. And then C, for length, it's either going to be like 5 inches, and then they also have feet, yards, or miles. Those will all be length. So it should be quite straightforward. So please do the homework. That's going to be 3 to 28, all of them, and then 29 and 31, the 2 problem-solving questions. So that's it for today's lesson. Thank you for listening to me talk for a long time. That's it.